Do you actually think the dance floor is dead?
Babe. No, I don't. That lyric from that song is about my relationship with Brat. I made electronic music. It's about my pivot from that as an artist who doesn't want to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. It is polar opposite to Brat. Everything that happened during Brat has been so influential to the songs that I'm writing for music, fashion, film.
We go out.
It's fun, right?
Sounds great.
I think it's cool.
We're so back. Hey guys, it is me, Allie, and as you can clearly tell, today we are going to be talking about all things music, fashion, film. I think somebody just won the World Cup, so there's fireworks or possibly gunshots going on outside my window. There's nothing I can do about that. Literally, I'm sorry, just ignore it. Shockingly, I feel like I've seen a lot of people be confused about what's going on.
Clear as day, I'll look into the camera. The album is not a rock album.
This is charli XCX we're talking about. Expect the unexpected or have no expectations because, baby.
Me and my friends.
As the unofficial charli XCX historian over here, you know me, I pay attention to the details. I'm watching all of the music, fashion, film stuff unfold from the Brat aftermath. So it's gonna be laying out a little timeline for you guys, some of the lore. I think also before we get into this conversation, when we talk about charli XCX, we aren't talking about like a normal traditional pop artist. And I know that sounds so weird to say, but I feel like she's kind of skyrocketed into a place where her peers are now completely different, but never once has she behaved like career-wise or artistically as the peers that she has now. So I think that's important to remember as we kind of go through everything and think of charli more as an artist rather than like a pop star doing an album rollout, if that makes sense. But we cannot talk about the new album, music, fashion, film without going all the way back to early 2025. I think this was around the time of the Grammys. AG and Finn, who are two of charli's closest producer collaborators. Basically, Finn shared in the interview that in the months after finishing the remix album, any other musical discussion that has taken place, as in with charli, has been kind of anti-brat.
There is obviously this whole conversation. You should like ride that train.
Yeah.
You know, you should like do that again. You should make another record that sort of plays into some of the sonic elements that people are now familiar with you, and I have no interest in doing that. Like, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's like, maybe,
Why don't you have interest in doing that?
Because it's not inspiring to me.
And listen, this is another thing with the fans is that we, me included, I'm sorry, I'm a part of the problem. We kind of just run with shit, okay? This literally could have been a passing comment or something like that, but the angels took note, okay? We took note of the anti-brat kind of sentiment, and we basically, or at least I, knew to expect the unexpected. Essentially, there was confirmation that new music was in the works, or at least in the very early stages. Around this time, charli also played a festival, and she went on stage with Clairo to sing Sophia. It was no auto-tune, very organic. It was so nice to hear charli sing like that. And then she went on TikTok saying,
performed Sophia with Clairo. It's actually one of my favourite songs. It got me thinking, what if I made a record with guitars or strings or both? New Read era, maybe, I don't know, just saying.
Keep that in mind. Also at this time, charli was about to begin filming for The Moment, which is her A24 movie, and if you have watched The Moment, you know how much of a spiral the whole Brat fiasco was for her, especially the commercialized aspect. You could tell in the film that everything about superstardom and, you know, mass appeal and everything like that is very exhausting to her. I would be going insane too.
Brat summer. Forever.
Okay, I'm not sure I feel that it's gonna last forever. I'm like, give me forever.
But we did not know what the plot was yet. All we knew is that it was gonna be some sort of Brat tour mockumentary. I think filming took place in March. The Brat Arena tour, because this wasn't even a year since Brat has been released yet. The Brat Arena tour was in late April, early May. And then was the 1-year anniversary of Brat where charli did the Forever wall, which is so funny because in The Moment, there's a scene where charli XCX is basically looking like she's actually being tortured while she's screaming, "Brat, summer, forever.
Brat summer forever.
Sound a little hysterical there.
So looking back now, it literally just feels like Charli was doing like a social experiment on us, because she like did that whole fucking wall and then was like literally looking suicidal in the fucking movie while saying that. But yeah, it's very interesting to think about things that are presented to the world versus how she could be feeling internally. Granted, the moment is a mockumentary, so it's up for interpretation on if that is how Charli really feels. From early summertime until about October, it was pretty dry in XCX world. I think we were all just waiting for the movie to come out, delusionally thinking that it would be ready in like 4 months, which is just absolutely not possible. Over the summer, Charli did another little festival appearance, and she went on stage with Air to sing Cherry Blossom Girl. This was another one of those moments where she was no auto-tune, just singing, and the reception, I think, like, was really good. So I feel like that encouraged Charli to kind of do more organic analog stuff in the studio.
Cherry blossom girl, I feel sick of the long from not being with you. I just wanna go out every night for a ride. Cherry blossom girl.
In the fall time, I think September, Charli had a couple films that went to film festivals, and then what I like to call our filmli press begun. We get to filmli era, which this is November 2025 edition of Vanity Fair, which means it was likely the interview happened in maybe late September or October. This is our first interview that sets the tone for Charli's next era, Charli's next chapter, Brat, and it's completely different because she's a movie star. This is a fabulous interview. And for me, this was kind of like a Brat closure interview, moving into filmli era. At this point in time, Charli was posting on Substack about how her current inspiration, or I guess passion, is acting. And it's not that she fell out of love with music, because she kind of referred to it as like a limb that you'll never be able to cut off, or whatever the saying is. She is focused on movies now. This interview was also kind of a little bit of Brat closure, Brat reflections, and Charli talking about where she is now in her life and in her career. At this point in time, November 2025, a lot of Charli fans kind of really didn't have hope for new music, which is pretty interesting. But the gag is that in October of 2025, which is now revealed to us, Charli was in a Paris recording studio recording her Wuthering Heights album that we didn't know about at the time, and music fashion film.
Let's hear it just once. Straight on. Just curious.
Me and my.
In November, Charli's Wuthering Heights album is announced. When Charli was writing on Substack about being inspired again and writing music, she talked about how getting a text from Emerald Fennell and kind of putting herself in this Wuthering Heights character and Wuthering Heights world inspired her to make a new album for the movie, which of course we love. But take note of that for later. Get House, which is the first single, and me personally, this is one of my favorite Charli singles ever. This point in time is also important because this is where John Cale enters the XCX verse, which, as we know now, John Cale is on the album cover for music fashion film representing music. Everybody was kind of really shocked that, like, wow, we're getting another fucking album so soon after Brat. And then keep in mind, none of us knew that there was another album behind that too. In November 2025, as the Wuthering Heights stuff is kind of rolling out, Charli is also doing a lot more filmli press, so she goes on Goop and also confirms that her new music is working with strings. And again, at this time, everybody kind of thought she was just referring to Wuthering Heights. Flash forward to January 2026 when The Moment is released. The Moment at Sundance, please. I know some of y'all watch my vlog. If you've seen The Moment, I feel like you can kind of understand a little bit how much of a toll Brat took on Charli as a person and how much art is like commercialized and actually separated from the artist. There's a lot of like heavy commentary in The Moment. If you haven't watched it, I definitely suggest you go watch it on HBO Max. I feel like a lot of people have an image of who Charli XCX is, but she literally has a mockumentary and an actual documentary that kind of give you a better peek into her actual personality instead of just her persona.
Being an artist is really volatile, you know, and I think I've been very, very honest about how volatile I am as a person.
Yeah.
And
That's
like,
what The Moment's about.
Well, yes, yes.
At this same time, she's doing more press, and she does an interview with Quen Blackwell where she mentions quitting music.
I want to quit music, babe.
And act.
And act. Yes.
And this makes sense because of everything that unfolds in the moment. It's like, it's not a happy-go-lucky hee-hee-ha-ha movie. It's like really kind of sad. After all of that, you can kind of like imagine what that did to her, how she feels as like a, you know, a singer, a pop star or whatever. She was probably like thrown off from that shit. And she also mentioned months before that, that acting has kind of now become her true love. A lot of people, me, believed it. We're kind of panicking. So this is our fault again, being the fans. We need to fucking chill the fuck out. The Wuthering Heights album released on Valentine's Day 2026, and subsequently Charli XCX took a little hiatus. The best part about the hiatus though was that she wiped her Instagram, unfollowed a bunch of people, it was a whole fucking thing, and kept up only 3 posts. A Brat post, a post about the moment, and then a YSL like branded partnership post. I was like, she's only keeping that up because she's contractually obliged to. Bro, the 3 posts she kept up, music, fashion, film. Bro, like, I always feel so dumb after Charli's master plans unfold, but it's so fun. Again, today I'm not here to talk about the Wuthering Heights album, though it was fabulous, and I love the fucking, what do we get, 4 music videos from that album. I love the whole aesthetic. Charli confirmed it was True Romance's sister. We're fed. 2026 Q1, and we already have a full feature-length movie from Charli and a full album that is like low-key different than anything she's ever done before. I feel like people moved on a little bit too fast from that, but today we're just going to talk about music, fashion, film. Charli's brief hiatus ended in the middle of April when she came out and posted like a black and white film photo of herself with the name of a studio, and then it said Paris, October 2025. So this is when everybody realized that Charli was in the studio October 2025, because we knew she was making the Wuthering Heights album, but we didn't know there was more. The day after Charli makes her comeback, this British Vogue cover drops, and listen, I'm not crazy, okay? If you read this here, it says, Charli XCX, a rock reinvention. She didn't know they were gonna play in her face. And I'm not talking about Charli, I'm talking about the British Vogue interviewer who, at the time of them interviewing Charli for this cover, Charli played some of her new songs and they interpreted it as rock.
Pop, like for sure. It's like, it's pop, but we're exploring, I don't know, like more sort of analog elements, I suppose. You know, it's pop, but we're exploring I don't know, like more sort of analog elements, I suppose. You know, like Alex is playing drums.
The interesting thing about the music, fashion, film era, like, come on, she will rock you. I mean, it's like true, but they made it seem like it was giving hard rock, and then Charli had to come out after and be like, I literally never said I was making a rock album. Oopsies. Now, this interview took place in February of 2026, and it essentially set the tone of the black and white visuals for the music, fashion, film era. It also let us in on a little bit of the inspirations for the album, the fact that she was feeling inspired again. She did emphasize a lot how fashion played a role in getting her in the studio when she was getting dressed and kind of putting her in, I guess, a persona, if you want to think about it that way.
It's funny, when I go to the studio, depending on the outfit I wear, the song will turn out kind of different. Clothes can really dictate your presence in the world and how you engage with art.
Kind of mirrors exactly how Charli wrote about being inspired after essentially getting a prompt from Emerald Fennell so she could put herself in this Wuthering Heights character. And then with this music, fashion, film album that she recorded in Paris while wearing leather and all that, this is like her cool girl, you know, Paris suicidal ideation era. One of the most important things to come from this interview is that Charli said her, AG, and Finn were in the studio and kind of working on what they call their version of analog. And this is very important when it comes to listening to the music, because I know a lot of people aren't going to read her Vogue article, but essentially when she was in the studio, her, AG, and Finn were attempting to do things analog style. So that's what she was kind of talking about when she mentioned strings and all that kind of stuff, because it's not, sonically, it's completely different than Brat. Only takes ears to listen and see that this new music is more analog in a sense. The interview also was a little bit controversial because one of the lyrics in Charli's upcoming songs, which we now know to be rock music, Charli says, "The dance floor is dead." And listen, this interviewer did their job, but this is why Charli has expressed before that it's hard to feel safe doing press interviews like this, because You know, she shared a snippet of her upcoming music, and then the person is writing in an interview that she said the dance floor is dead. So...
Do you actually think the dance floor is dead?
Babe. No, I don't. That lyric from that song is about my relationship with Brat. I've made electronic music. It's about my pivot from that as an artist who doesn't want to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again.
That was absolutely not an attack on anybody. That's literally just saying, like, Charli did every single thing she could possibly do with Brat. George is even quoted in this interview saying that Charli essentially like broke dance music.
I mean, look, my husband runs a dance music label. He's DJing like every other week.
Yep.
And
I've seen him DJ.
Yeah, and I'm going. and like I'm there in the corner like
So once you've done it all, like you get bored.
It's like a personal comment on like the fact that I was doing that. I was doing like Boiler Room in New York and going to Ibiza and doing it with the Dare and with George and with whoever else, and party girl, rave. It's like, and then also like going out all the time.
And we know Charli, she gets bored with anything anyway. She moves on very quickly. So this made sense to me, and I was like excited to hear that as well. When I heard rock album, like I really thought she was about to fucking go hard rock on us. So when she said the dance floor is dead, I was like, this is my dream come true. There are 3 additional songs that we haven't heard yet that are revealed in this interview. First one is fan titled 2007, and the lyrics are something like pop star in my bedroom like it's 2007, which is so like nostalgic Charli what I like. So I'm very excited to hear that song. The next one is kind of a sad one, which reminds me of Charli's song Twice from Crash. New song's lyrics go, nothing's gonna last forever and no one's gonna last forever. So that sounds really sad, which is low-key a common theme among some of the songs on this album. So I'm nervous, but also I can relate to Charli's mentally ill nature. So I appreciate when she goes there in her music. The third song that is mentioned in this interview is fan titled Card Decline, because it's I'll post the lyrics here, but it's something like, I'm gonna go shopping, buy some shoes, buy a purse, buy a smile, buy a new personality, card decline. Also another song that talks about Charli's love for acting. So even though we had the filmli press last year and now we're getting another album, we have not left that in the dust. This is random, but that's also one thing I admire about Charli, is that she's not ashamed of the fact that she wants more and she wants to do more, and she's not gonna stop. Photos in this interview were just so gaggy. Like, I'm sorry, this is one of my favorite pictures of Charli ever. John Cale is also quoted in this interview talking about Charli, which of course is important again because John Cale is featured on the album cover, but he says, Charli's driven by a hunger based on aggressive curiosity. I think we both have an unfaltering commitment to being true to ourselves, no matter the cost, no matter who's buzzing in our ear. Charli is fearless, stands her ground, takes no prisoners, and is a real sweetheart. Her mind is made up, her tenacity ferocious, which I think is like such a fucking crazy thing for one of your idols or inspirations to say about you, which also makes sense why he's on the album cover. Yeah, this interview also touched on Charli kind of thinking about like quitting music and how she found inspiration again.
Brat taught me, which was a big fuel for this record, was like, it made me think about why I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
And how thankful I am to be able to do what I do. And that was a big fuel for this album. You know, like I felt so grateful after the success of Brat.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would be in that position. You know, as you said at the beginning of this, I'm like the opposite of an overnight success story. Like I was very at peace with like where I was and what I was doing. And that made me be like, wow, like I'm so fortunate to be able to do this at the scale that I do it. And I realized, I mean, I've known this for a long time, but my whole life and my existence is so tied to the work that I do, possibly in a kind of unhealthy way. Yeah. Like it is my being, it is my everything.
And how essentially she really just wants to make music with her friends. And you know, I personally thought that Charli's hiatus from music would be longer because we got a whole album with Wuthering Heights, and just a couple months later we're about to get another one. And especially when Charli was talking about, you know, not being as inspired by music, I kind of thought things like would be a little longer. Listen, I'm absolutely not complaining. Here is what Charli or the article had to say about, I guess, her inspiration. Anything, returning to music was a surprise to Charli. Just last year, she was saying music no longer felt dangerous to her. I've been making music since I was 14. It's nearly 20 years. I feel very spoiled saying this, but there's not much there that can thrill me within music anymore. I'm not gonna say I listen to every artist under the sun, but I feel like it's not like a popular sound. And I personally think it's really interesting. Of course, I always love Charli's songwriting. I also think that the sound on music fashion film is very intentional. Making XCX8 in a fresh setting made music feel alive again, working in a tight unit and preserving a rough demo-like quality to her voice. Her trademark auto-tune is all but gone, and Cook's guitar. We're doing our version of Analogue, which is so silly and funny, she says lovingly, but putting it through our lens and making sure that nothing felt too macho was important. At this point in time, Charli also updates her like profile pictures on everything, and she also changes her Spotify bio to this cryptic thing about being inspired, which again ties back into the stuff during the late Brat era, talking about how she kind of fell out of love with music. So it's all coming back full circle. At this point in time, Charli also rebrands her 360 Brat account to b.sides. Last time she changed the name of her alt account, 360 Brat, the album title was named Brat. So everybody was kind of like, oh my god, what does B-sides mean? Soon after Charli's return, she opens up this conversations form on her website, which basically you put your name and, you know, all your information for the email list for promo and stuff, but then you can ask Charli a question. And she was actually responding to people. I don't know if the people she responded to don't check their email or just don't use social media, but I saw at least 3 responses. She wanted the questions to be about art and making art and inspiration, since, you know, she said she was feeling really inspired, which matches the themes of like music, fashion, film. You know, everyone thought that was really cool, but we were also like, what the fuck is going on and what is the purpose of this? The next day after the conversations forum opens up, Charli posts a new letterbox list, and if you guys are Charli fans nowadays, you know that she loves movies. I mean, hello, music, fashion, film. She's often on Letterboxd. She does lists every now and again, but this list was titled All I Know Is How It Makes Me Feel. We still don't know what that means, but I believe it is a lyric from an upcoming song. But essentially, there was a couple documentaries, there was a couple films, and for me, I was like trying really hard to find the through line of like what connected them all. And of course, now that we know the album title, Music, Fashion, Film, that is kind of really what this list is all about. I think it has a couple of her favorite actual films, and it has documentaries about music, fashion, and film. I love the little Easter eggs that she drops for people who pay attention. It's like, it's very subtle, but it's very cute and fun.
It's about the art that made the artist.
Yeah, yes, that's a really good way of putting it. You know, all of the conflicts that comes with that. There are songs on the record that are extremely positive. There are also songs where, you know, it's like how volatile I am as a person. I think this album goes into those feelings.
So on May 2nd, yes, the legendary New York City Conversations event happened, and bitch, I don't even know what to say.
I think we're actually sort of like heading into this world of like anti-marketing now,
yeah.
which I'm really looking forward to. I think we've been so saturated with these really like bombastic pop-ups and da-da-da-da-da, and like really kind of making music feel like 3-dimensional in every single outlet that you can possibly have, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But I also think it's done. Like I think
the pendulum swinging back.
Yeah, I think it's early still, but I think it's going that way. I mean, I think, you know, the fact that like Phoebe did No Phones, that's like a really big like signifier of that. Going back to a more personal experience with the art and the artist, it's gonna come, and it's probably gonna come like mid next year in a more like real way.
I did get chosen. I was one of 20 people that got to have a one-on-one combo with Charli XCX herself, but I really had no idea anything about like the music that was coming out. I tried to keep my questions on theme for the original like conversations thing that she asked, which was talking about like art and inspiration. So I wrote on my Substack about it if you actually gaff and want to know about it. But yeah, she's amazing. But essentially, this Conversations event is our first activation of the music, fashion, film era, and there are shirts being handed out. We got notepads, and we also got film cameras that shoot only in black and white. I think it was really cool that the Conversations thing was private, and also it kind of ties back into the Rock Reinvention interview where Charli said things were going more analog, kind of, you know, reflected in the actual things, you know, giving people a film camera, a notepad, and a pen, and talking to people one-on-one rather than like, I don't know, doing an Instagram live or something like that. It becomes way more personal, intentional part part of this like rollout, moving away from mass appeal kind of things, if that makes sense. More going offline vibes. On May 4th in New York City, Charli attends the Met Gala wearing YSL, and the dress that she wore to the Met Gala is also super relevant to music, fashion, film because she wore a YSL Spring-Summer 88 couture collection paying homage to Van Gogh's irises, one of Yves's favorite pieces, one of his favorite flowers, often given to his favorite muses. So again, this ties into like the whole inspiration and inspired thing that Charli has going on. A real story there that not only matched the Met Gala theme, but also tied into her own like album cycle going on. So loved that. Then on May 8th, we get the rock music video and release. Yes, God! This is like one of her best videos. I think the videos this era are so fucking good. I love this video so much. I love this song. I think that my favorite part in the lyrics is when she talks about her neck and like, you know, the stuff that she's going through with her nerve damage or whatever, and how she's like, oh, the only way you can feel something is by jumping off the stage.
I think some people were really adamant that I was being, I don't know, like really ironic and sort of like snobby with that song or something, which is so funny because that's such a classic kind of, that's like the conversation that was really happening around like Vroom Vroom and a lot of the early PC music stuff. It's a conversation we're so familiar with. Like, people were like, oh, they think they're so clever. Like it's all a big joke. And it's like, actually, no, it's not. It's like actually really, it's music made by really like human people, but having a lot of fun. It's still unbelievably meaningful.
Yeah, clearly it's a departure from what we know from Charli. So a lot of people were shocked, and then of course like a week later there was a bunch of people being like, wait, it's kind of sounding good now. Like, girl, no shit, this is a hit maker we're talking about. But not only did we get this new song and video, the very next day we get a B-side posted on Charli's B-sides Instagram account. Okay.
I keep thinking about you every single day. I keep thinking about you every single night.
Charli eventually made a video on this B-sides account talking about what exactly the B-sides represent and kind of that they really are a flip side to the A-side.
Whilst making the record, I made a few songs that felt like a part of the world of the album, but I kind of knew they weren't ever going to be on the album. They became the sort of B-sides. The B-sides are sort of like coupled with some of the songs that are coming out like ahead of the album. Keep on Thinking About You Every Single Day and Night is the B-side to rock music, because in ways they're totally opposite from each other. And that is kind of the sort of main point of them. It's sort of a mirror.
Our first B-side is our bisexual anthem, I Keep On Thinking About You Every Single Day and Night. I actually love this song so much. Remember when Charli said she's not bi?
I'm actually not bi. So
literally fake news. You can be straight until you're 30 and then choose to be bi. It's literally fine. I love both of these songs so much and how like weirdly, brutally honest they are. I think they're both super beautiful, but we're not here to talk about my music opinion. We're just here to talk about the rollout. In the rock music video, it's primarily in black and white, which again is the aesthetic for music, fashion, film, except for when they get into rock and then everything goes into color. So that is just a fun little thing to note. New experimentation brings color into everybody's life. The B-side was also in black and white. I believe every video this era has been shot by Aiden Zamiri, or I guess directed by Aiden Zamiri, so obsessed. And I love like the DIY quality of the black and white music videos. Again, it feels like it's kind of going back to the like analog references of just like making things yourself and doing things organically, and I feel like it all kind of just weaves together. After our first B-side, Charli starts to repost tweets on Twitter, and they're kind of random tweets. Like, she's done this before. She'll retweet like little movie posts or like cute pictures of people, whatever, but she was specifically reposting Marc Jacobs smoking cigarettes a lot, Martin Scorsese, and John Cale, like multiple times for each of them. Huh. Interesting. Noted. May 19th rolls around. The fucking discourse about the dance floor being dead is still going for some pointless reason, and Charli posts a new Substack, and this Substack, we don't know it yet, but it is the lyrics to Charli's next single, SS26. Okay, the lyrics are kind of doomed vibes.
It's funny, I think everybody thinks that song is about the end of the world or something, or the state of the world, and it's actually not. Like, that's not. It's kind of about persona in a way. It's about how he, as in all of of us, anyone who is kind of like on the internet, there is this sort of like level of persona, this level of like feeling
Character
like you
crafting.
need to be like on the right side of every single conversation, not get things wrong, apologize for things, how big or small, that you've done, to ultimately lead you towards some kind of moral sanctuary that will still actually not ever be enough.
Music Charli's making now is very reflective, seeing over the course of Charli's career the things that she sings about and the things that she's been through. Like, you know, we know about that stuff, so it's interesting to see her reflect back on that in such a personal way. I feel like a lot of artists don't do that. There's also a very post-brat quality about Charli's music now, where she is kind of hyper aware about things that she would have never been before. So for example, this pre-chorus, think my politics could work as a press strategy and my heritage could give me quite the USP.
It's because nobody asks me, especially when I was younger. Like, I didn't really feel like I belonged. And people ask me, I talk about it. But I think
now, especially going back to like when she would talk a lot about inspiration, making music and just being an artist now is there's such a convoluted like process around it, and there's so many politics and things that go into it that really it's just like, I just want to make fucking art.
There is this world where like I could really like play that up a lot.
And some artists do.
And it's like doesn't come natural to me.
Can't hide the fact I'd rather take the easy road. Yeah, I think I'll be alright if I look good in the clothes. This again ties into when Charli said in the Vogue interview how much of a role that fashion played into everything in this era. Fashion plays so much of a role in who we are and how we feel. I mean, you guys know I say that fashion makes me feel like a character and, you know, take on different personas and feel differently. It's like a coping mechanism. I think I'll be alright if I look good in the clothes. Fashion is like a form of protection, and when you hear this song, it is like low-key sad, but she's a bop. She's a bop. And the video is so tea. The SS26 music video was also super fun because it was very fashion oriented. Shout out Chris Horan, Charli XCX's stylist. You are amazing. We fucking love you. But basically, you know, the song, we're walking on a runway straight to hell. The models are all falling. I'm sure everybody saw the viral clip. Again, Charli comes through with the cameos, 360 fashion, and the people who are making cameos in this video are actually crazy. We have Francesca Scorsese, who is Martin Scorsese's daughter, who's just casually sitting on the side of the runway. Love that. Karine Roitfield, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm not gonna say her name right, but she's the former editor-in-chief of Vogue Paris, and she opens the video with the line, "Fashion won't save us, but let's go on the runway and walk."
La mode va pas nous sauver, mais let's go on runway and walk.
Anthony Vaccarello, who is the creative director of YSL, was there. Some other fashion people. Listen, I don't know all the fashion people. Abra was there, and she did a song with Charli a while ago on Number One Angel. It's called Drugs. It's low-key the fucking best song ever. And the guy from La Watch Party, which we'll circle back to that too. And of course, after the SS26 video dropped, the very next day we get the next B-side, which is probably the fan favorite B-side. It's called Playboy Bunny. Playboy Bunny very much gives, again, this like post-brat mindset of seeing everything like a little bit cynically, I guess. For example, one of the lyrics is, write a song and then put it on a t-shirt. Brat, you know? So it's kind of reflective in that way, but it's also really fun. There is a video for Playboy Bunny as well, and it's super fun, black and white, directed by Aiden Zamiri, so the pattern is continuing. I think Playboy Bunny relates to SS26, as in SS26 is more of like, oh my god, the world is ending, like what can we do besides look good? Like literally nothing, like nothing's gonna save us, bro. And then Playboy Bunny is more like, I'm gonna write a song with one word and make $1 million because the world is ending, so what the fuck? So it's like two sides of the same coin, if that makes sense. And then before we move on, of course we have to note that SS26, one of the lyrics is, nothing's gonna save us, not music, fashion, or film. So the whole time these singles were rolling out, the fans were obviously trying to guess the title of the album. This drops, Charli did the whole Substack. Literally none of us still thought it was called Music, Fashion, Film. One fan theory was actually that the album is called Ford, because Ford flipped backwards is actually Brat. You know, the anti-brat, you see where we're going with this? And of course, Charli, because she's funny as fuck, wanted to join in on the fun, so she posted a picture of a 2007 Ford. Now, everybody focused on the fact that it was a Ford, but I focused on the fact that it was a 2007 Ford. Because remember earlier when we were talking about the rock reinvention interview, there was a song, Pop Star in My Bedroom, like it's 2007. Here we go. On May 30th, Charli has her next Conversations event, and this one, instead of a one-on-one, is more of like a TED Talk vibe. She did it with George, and it was in London. The theme was music. Okay, so note that part one, music. She did a little TED Talk with George, and then afterwards, she did a little DJ set where she played, or I guess remixed, some of her new songs. She mixed some of Wink Wink, and it was so funny how she did it because it goes, maybe I fucked your music.
Music. Maybe I fucked your dad. I used to look
I don't know. The DJ set was a vibe. Like, DJ Charli is peak. But again, the Conversations event in London where she did the music conversation really makes sense because obviously she's from the UK. It's where she started making music. George was making music there. And the fact that she can like actually verbally talk to fans. They also got merch, notepads, cameras, all that stuff. Shirts, and it's all free. June 1st, we get the proper album announcement of Music Fashion Film, which is Charli XCX's next album. We also get the album cover, which again is three guys. We have John Cale, Marc Jacobs, and Martin Scorsese, each representing respectively music, fashion, and film. John Cale was obviously chosen because of the fact that he is such an inspiration to Charli herself, and because of how the Velvet Underground and him himself planted the seeds of so many things in the music industry.
He was flipping the form in a way that was really new and unique, and he means a lot to me personally as a musician who's done that.
Marc Jacobs was chosen because A, he's Marc Jacobs, and B, because he's the first one to give Charli her first fashion campaign.
I think Marc has always been somebody who speaks to youth culture. He lost his job and then went on to kind of do his own line, and that defiance and like desire and need to stick to one's own vision is something that really speaks to
Martin Scorsese obviously was chosen because he's Martin fucking Scorsese.
I've been lucky enough to have like a few conversations with him where we were just talking about film and, you know, his work and how he approaches his work, and honestly like his knowledge of film is just encyclopedic. Like it's crazy. And that is something that's really, really inspiring to me.
Charli decided to name the album Music Fashion Film to represent like the three creative pillars that keep her going. So when she stepped away from creating music and went into film, of course you feel that same love, but you also feel kind of something like gnawing at you. Music Fashion Film is kind of like a swan song of like, these are the three things that are keeping me alive. These are the three things that are my purpose. It also goes back to everything being more personal in a way, because this album is very reflective of Charli herself, because she says that her work often centers around her constantly fluctuating feelings, which is a very human experience and one of the reasons why we love Charli XCX. A new era for Charli and a new phase in her life, kind of realizing that these are the things that are gonna save her in her own life, but also nothing's gonna fucking save us and we're all gonna die anyway. Same day that the album is announced, Charli drops a new snippet on TikTok. And she includes this light blue text that you can also see on one of the Music Fashion Film vinyl variants. Now, after everything has really unfolded, we can say for sure that this light off blue color is the color of the Music Fashion Film era. Granted, it's not brat green, and we're not trying to be brat green. The whole vibe is black and white, but I do really enjoy that this blue accent color has kind of been carried through a few things at this point. On June 8th, we get the tour announcement for the US. Everyone was fucking pissed that it wasn't a worldwide tour. Beautiful to me that everybody, you know, wants Charli XCX in their area. And on June 16th, I was reminiscing on the DJ set that Charli did after her London Conversations event. So I tweeted, "Maybe I fucked your music," and Charli quoted it and said, "Or maybe I fucked your dad." Shout out Tony, because I know my dad's probably watching this. I forgot to tell you this on FaceTime, but hypothetically, on June 17th, Charli uses the snippet that she teased at the beginning of the month in another TikTok. And this time it's giving, okay, the song is coming. Now we know that the song is Wink Wink. I think it went like mini TikTok viral and the people were fucking with it, so.
And I really want to do a video for Wink Wink. I really want to shoot it like this coming weekend, basically.
Well, we've done crazier things.
On June 18th, we get Charli XCX's Rolling Stone cover, and I'm literally kicking myself for not finding it yet. This interview kind of echoes some of the previous sentiments about the album itself, but it also clarifies that this is not a rock record. Charli essentially says, I'm gonna read her quote, "I've never thought about genre in a binary way. I find that to be a very old school notion. I don't even know what the genre is. It's just me, AG, Cook, and Finn doing our thing." Heavy emphasis on the fact that she's just releasing her art. It doesn't need to be classified 100 different ways. Rolling Stone article also details how though Charli said that she wanted to make a Lou Reed album and the Velvet Underground was a huge inspiration for her, sonically it is not similar. And Charli emphasizes again, I've heard her say this before, so I understand, but I'll read it to you. To be honest, when I make music, I'm thinking less about other music as a reference point. I actually shut myself off and we just escape into our own world. So I don't think Charli would ever make anything that sounds like another artist. Charli also emphasizes in this interview, I'm interested in making things really intimate between me and my audience, sitting down one-on-one with a person and having a conversation. So I kind of feel like that would be like a theme of this album, is it's like analog, personal, black and white, raw, back to the basic. Basis of the Rolling Stone interview is that Charli is not going to repeat herself. She kind of goes into a little more about the things that she's doing on music, fashion, film, and why, even though I know that she hates explaining herself. A couple days after the Rolling Stone cover, on June 22nd, Charli XCX posts a screen grab from possibly, we didn't know yet, a music video, and she said something, "He is coming." And then she goes to Paris. While she's in Paris, she is partying with Madonna all weekend. I think she said something about like they couldn't stop hanging out with each other, which is literally just like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane.
And we just couldn't stop hanging out with each other. And it was fab. Then we were like, oh, should we like party together in Paris? Should we like throw a party? And so we did. She accidentally like threw 2 parties. It was hectic, but very fun. And she's fab.
Did a collaborative DJ set, which has since sparked a lot of collab rumors.
Madonna.
I personally don't believe it, but you guys can keep praying. The most important thing that happened in Paris was our next Conversations event. We had music in London, and our next one is fashion in Paris. So much sense because, of course, film would be in LA or Hollywood. And then New York just got a little special private combo. There weren't really many great videos from this event, but Charli sat down with Petra Collins and did a little conversation at this space. Charli got to talk about fashion and art, and yeah, it's just very in line with the theme of this album rollout, being very personal with people. Again, going back to analog. Here we are on June 26th. The Wink Wink video was just released, and the song, of course. It is playful with the wink, 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 wink stuff, but at the core of it, it's very real. I think my favorite lyric is something like, I don't know why you don't believe me. I don't know why you don't think I could be an angel girl. To me, again, I'm not Charli. I don't know what she meant, but to me, it's reflective of the fact that like she has old songs, you know, about cheating allegedly and whatever, and also her brat persona. Everybody thinks she's the party girl, you know, the Madonna whore complex. You can't see a party girl as a good girl or like whatever. But at the end of the day, she's just a girl who contains multitudes. And of course, it's very playful with I'm not a bad girl anymore, and the video is very sexy. But I think it is very earnest, and Charli plays with this. She has a little tramp stamp tattoo that says always earnest. And yeah, I just think the whole thing's very cute and very smart.
You know, party music and pop music in general, it's like very sacred and serious.
Yeah, I very
in a
much
way.
agree. So this entire show is dedicated to making people understand.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's also really silly and fun.
Yeah.
And like those things can coexist.
Totally.
And I think there's this thing that still happens right now where if something is deemed as fun, I think people sometimes have a problem also understanding that as like being serious.
Yeah.
I think the themes of all the songs deep down have low-key been like very sad, and I don't know if that's just me, but I definitely feel like music, fashion, film has a very different undertone. I see how we got from anti-brat to hear. Also in the Wink Wink video, I do have to mention, because I just love Charli's little storytelling and the fact that like all of her discography kind of makes a world around her work, but in the video, Charli is standing in front of a clothesline, and on the clothesline, a few of her old outfits. We have the Pop 2 lilac set she wore for touring Pop 2. We have the Party For You music video dress. Then we also have the Brat Tour t-shirt that says me and Sophie and AG and Hudmo, which is really fucking cute that she's like hanging them up in the background like I'm not a bad girl anymore. I'm like, you know, my stuff is gone. Very, very cute. Also, to add to the Madonna collab theory, there's a little shot reference that has Charli carrying a butt plug in a clear plastic bag, and it was 100% giving that Madonna paparazzi shot when she was walking with the clear plastic bag. Yeah, that is where we are in the music fashion film rollout. We still have 1 month until the album. One thing that people are just really not getting about this new era is that Charli XCX is not Brat. Like, and I'm not saying that like Kamala is Brat. Like herself, she is not what Brat is. Brat was just a product that was created by her and then spun out of control, and I feel like majority of people see her as that, so they are so fucking confused by what is going on.
People obviously really associate me with that album and all the things that came with that album, and in a way they kind of, it becomes these sort of like cartoonish personality traits, you know?
If you are one of those people and you don't like Charli's new music, you don't have to listen to it. You don't have to say anything. You like Brat, you can still like Brat. Like, it's totally fine. But I think a lot of people are missing that Charli talked a lot about losing her inspiration. And as an artist, when you lose your inspiration, that's kind of like heartbreaking. Like, it feels like dying or like losing someone very close to you. So the fact that she got that inspiration back to make that music and people think she's like trolling is just kind of like defeating. So she did make a tweet saying, "I'm not trying to repel people away or convince people into liking me. I'm doing what I feel is truthful to me. I think existing as a human being in 2026 is really hard for a multitude of different reasons. My solace is art, but sometimes that doesn't even really feel safe in this day and age. Maybe you feel the same." As we can tell from this post and the end of her Rolling Stone article, Charli is still going through some of the sadness that she also talked about on Brat, which is a theme that I'm seeing in music, fashion, film. I think that the overall themes that link this together is inspiration, real life connection, analog, conversations. I don't know. Charli being genre defying and doing something completely different as always. Now, just imagine you got everything you wanted in the world. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves your music. You constantly get praise. What is there even left to do? Would you just want to make that same album again and then repeat the cycle? I don't know. I think that would be boring. So I respect and admire Charli for releasing the art that she's making and that she wants to make. And I'm just happy for her that she gets to make whatever she wants to make, that she can get these 3 icons on her album cover. The rollout is happening in front of our eyes. My headphones are on. They're telling me to take my headphones off because the album isn't out for another month, but my headphones are on. End this video by saying I love Charli XCX. Personally, I do, and I am so fucking dead ass serious when I say this right now. I think she is the Andy Warhol of 2010, 2020s. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day, but yes, I love this woman. I respect her artistry so much. I listen and I see the little things, and I am so excited for everything that is to come. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am about to have so much fucking fun editing this. It's gonna take me hours, but I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.